continuing on from our previous series whereby clients who are otherwise healthy and don't have an underlying medical condition going on, why they might, their eyebrows may not necessarily hold for as long as we might like. So we discussed in the previous series about how healthy people and why the eyebrows may not hold as we might like. And there's some very, very simple aftercare instructions that we ask you to do. And if you don't adhere to them, well, then you're just going to get a suboptimal result. So another one is scabbing. So light scabbing is the normal part and parcel of the healing process, but heavy scabbing is not. So the scabbing is so light that actually it's like flaking. With us here in Broughtique, so we don't do a dry heel here, we do a wet heel, so it's like flaking and it's no big deal. Now, heavy scabbing is not normal and that's usually an indication that your body is rejecting the pigment in some way. But please do not be tempted to pick off the scabs. So if you are a scab picker, you are setting yourself up for a very poor retention and you are also, because the flaking is to sort of just slough off naturally. If you're that person who is a picker and you kind of think a little bit of an itch here now, oh, there's a scab, yippee, and you pull it off, well, you are taking the pigment that we want to implant into your skin away with. And you're going to end up with a suboptimal result. And I know the scab pickers, so when you come back for step 2, I can see by the sensitivity of the skin and the texture of the skin and the pinkness of the skin, and you could even sort of by picking the scab, you actually are promoting scarring as well, because your skin has to heal twice over. So when your skin has to heal twice over, not only have you picked away some of the pigment that we want to implant under your skin, but your skin has laid down a second layer of skin. So you run the risk of losing all the hard work that you went through for your first visit. You must let the scabs fall off naturally. And it's only flaking. It's not awful scabs. They're not going to be gross. They might feel a bit crinkly or crusty, but they're not going to look awful, whereby people are going to think, what the hell is she going around with those awful scabby brows? And that's because of the wet heel that we do here in Broughtique. So if you have an issue with picking scabs or skin or whatever, you need to let me know before your appointment, because scabbing is and healing is part and parcel of the healing process. And if you're a scabber, well, then you're just not going to end up with a good result. And it won't be because of the work that we've done. It'll be because you haven't let the body do what it needs to do, and that is to heal. And we don't want you to pick off the scab and it having to heal twice over. Okay. So another reason why you might end up with a suboptimal result is that you went back to exercise sooner than we might like, or we request you to. We usually request that you don't go to the gym for 5 to 7 days after the work is done. Sometimes if you heal in 5 days, we'd say you can go back to the gym in 5 days. If you were with any other microblader, they would say you don't go back to the gym for a month or 3 weeks to a month. So we only ask you to stay out of the gym for 5 to 7 days, and it's not just the gym. It is aerobic workouts, it's running, it is anything that's going to cause you to sweat. So if you sweat on your forehead, you are going to produce water that will trickle down into your eyebrows, and there is salt in sweat, and that will pull the pigment by osmosis out of your eyebrows. So yeah. So you're setting yourself up for infection, for starters. Now, we have an unblemished record of anybody ever getting an infection in Broughtique, and I don't want it to be you. So just follow those very simple aftercare rules. But yeah, the salt and sweat will do the same thing. It will actually pull the pigment out of your eyebrows. So that is, and it'll fade very quickly. I mean, and oftentimes clients would come back to me and say, I followed all the aftercare, Olive, and it's still faded quite a bit. And there are certain skins that it fades quite a bit, and then there are other skins that it shouldn't fade in that fashion. And then which are other no-nos as well. And that is very detailed in your aftercare. So if you think that it's okay to disregard the aftercare, and as I say, we're not as strict as other microbladers. So there's chlorine in the pool, there's chlorine in the jacuzzi, there is the sauna in the steam room. They will actually cause you to sweat. So the chlorine is going to bleach the pigment out of your healing eyebrows. It's only for 7 days, five to 7 days. And most of you can actually go back to resuming your activities in 5 days. There are clients who would actually, push me and press me and say, oh, can I go back after 3 days? Why do that when I'm already not as strict as other people, or other microbladers? So just do what I ask and you'll end up getting a good result. Otherwise, you'll be coming back to me in 5 months' time and saying, yeah, these didn't stay as well as I might have liked or I'd hoped. So, yeah. So keeping the eyebrow dry or not blatantly wet when you're inside in the shower for 3 to 5 days after the work is done is something that we ask you also. And we usually ask you to either apply Vaseline or Bepanthen when you're inside in the shower. And in the first day, we usually recommend that you do not, this is the first day after treatment, you do not wash your hair. And that's part of the pre-microblading prep. It's drummed into you at treatment time, and you also get a follow-up email as well. But the following days, following 5 to 7 days, we want you to make sure that you keep your eyebrows dry in the shower. But the day after the first day, you can wash your hair, but just make sure that the suds goes backwards. And we even give you a visor to make sure that none of the shampoo or the water in the shower gets onto your eyebrows. It's only a small part of your day when you're actually having your shower. So you just make sure that your eyebrows don't get wet. All right. Retinol and AHA. So if you are a person who loves to wear your retinol in the nighttime, during the healing process of 3 to 5 days, we recommend that you use it from here down. I don't want you using it on your forehead because it creeps down during the nighttime, and I don't want it to come into your healing brow. Your eyebrow already is doing the repair work, and we don't want to add something more to it that is actually speeding up skin cell turnover. And after the first week, you can resume to using your AHAs or your retinol on your forehead, but just stop about 1 centimetre above the eyebrow because it actually creeps during the nighttime anyway. So people disregard this, and I've seen it over the years actually, that people are wearing their retinol, they put it on in the nighttime, and the tails actually disappear. And that's because it's promoting skin cell turnover, and it'll actually help your... And so when they come back to me for their annual colour boost, and they think, oh my God, it stayed fine, Olive, it just needs a bit of a boost from here to here, but the tail has gone altogether. And usually the tail actually is the last to go because it's the thinnest of the skin on the eyebrow area. And it's because the AHAs, retinols and so on, it's promoting skin cell turnover. Therefore, my work is literally just under the skin, and it's promoted that area to actually turn over, and then obviously it's going to fade faster. All right. Okay, so there are another couple of reasons why generally healthy people might come back to me after 9-10 months having had their work done and wonder why it faded as fast as it has. So anybody who is healthy, and there's no reason why it should fade as fast as it does, we usually sort of explore a little bit further to see how we can help you with education and really sort of drive home the importance of the aftercare and the simple things that we ask you to do in between the steps, step 1 and step 2. We don't ask you to do a huge amount. We're not as strict as other microbladers, and don't, because it's not as strict as other microbladers, don't sort of just take it liberally. It's very important in order to be able to get the best result. It's not many people that come back to me with eyebrows that are so faded. In fact, some people come back for their annual colour boost, and I'd say to them, oh, I don't know if you could have nearly waited another 8 or 10 months, the fading has been so good. But people like it to be freshened up. It's just that clients whose eyebrows fade quickly, it's out of my control, it's out of your control, but there are certain troubleshooting things that we do in order to sort of explore how we can help your skin and your eyebrows to retain the pigment for longer. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to cover another couple of topics ongoingly over the next couple of days. People who have, need to come back to us a bit more often, and people who have difficulties in retaining the pigment in their skin. That would be the likes of alopecia, trichotillomania, anybody who's got an autoimmune disease, anybody who's got thyroid issues, hormonal issues, and other reasons why clients need to come back a bit more often. And those clients are usually so happy to have some sort of a semblance of a brow that they don't mind coming back more often. And then there are other clients who say, well, this really should be lasting a little bit longer than this. And it is what it is. We can do a certain amount. This part of our eyebrow is more exposed than any part of your face. Your nose, I suppose, after your nose, to the sunlight on a daily basis. So an SPF to prevent premature breakdown of the pigment is very important. And I know Sharna next door, she was lyrical about SPF for your skin, and I am saying the same thing about your eyebrows. And it's not enough to have the SPF in your face cream. And if you're following Sharna for any length of time, that you have to wear SPF under your moisturizer that also has SPF in it. So it's not enough to say, oh yeah, my moisturizer has an SPF of 30, but apparently you'd need to trowel on like 2 tablespoons of that moisturizer to get the same coverage as you would if you were putting SPF straight onto your face. So Sharna's advice, and mine is the same, is to wear an SPF on a daily basis, and then if you put your moisturizer over that, which got SPF in it, so that actually gives you an extra layer, but it doesn't replace it. Okay, right. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.